Chapter 1 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. The Creeturs Go to the Barbecue. "Once 'pon a time," said Uncle Remus to the little boy. "But when was once upon a time?" the child interrupted to ask. The old man smiled. "I 'spect 'twas one time or two times, and maybe a time and a half. You know, when Johnny Ash cake 'gun to bake. Well, 'twas long in dem days. Once 'pon a time," he resumed, "Mr. Man had a garden so fine dat all de neighbors come to see it. Some 'ud look at it over de fence, some 'ud peek thoo de cracks, and some 'ud come and look at it by de light of de stars. And one un um was ol' Br'er Rabbit. Starlight, moonlight, cloudlight, de nightlight was de light for him. When de turn of de mornin' come, he is always up and about, a feelin' pretty well, I thank you, suh. Now, den, you done hear what I say. Dere was Mr. Man, yonder was de garden, and here was ol' Br'er Rabbit." Uncle Remus made a map of this part of the story by marking in the sand with his walking cane. "Well, dis bein' de case, what you 'spect gwine to happen? Nothin' in de roun' world but what been happenin' sence greens and sparrowgrass was planted in de ground. Dey look fine, and dey taste fine, and long to'rds de shank er de mornin', Brer Rabbit 'ud creep thoo de crack in de fence and nibble at 'em. He take de greens, but leave his tracks, mo' speshually right atter a rain. Takin' and leavin', it's de way er de world. Well, one mornin', Mr. Man went out in his truck patch, and he find sump'n missin'. A cabbage here, a turnip dar, and a mess of beans yonder. And he ax, how come dis? He look roun', he did, and he seed Brer Rabbit's tracks what he couldn't take wid him. Brer Rabbit had left his shoes at home and come barfooted. So Mr. Man, he call his dogs. Here, Buck, here, Brinjer, here, Blue, and he sick 'em on de track, and here dey went. Ooh, you'd 'a' thunk dey was runnin' after 40 lem rhinoceroses from de fuss dey made. Brer Rabbit, he hear 'em comin', and he put out for home, kinder doublin' roun' like he do deze days. When he got to de p'int where he kin sit down fer to rest his face and his hands, he tuck a poplar leaf and he 'gun to fan hisse'f. Den Brer Fox come a trottin' up. He say, "Brer Rabbit, what's all dis fuss I hear in de woods? What de name er goodness do it mean?" Brer Rabbit kinder scratch his head and 'low, "Why, dey're tryin' fer to drive me to de big barbecue on de creek. Dey all ax me, and when I 'fuse, dey say dey ain't gwine ter make me go anyhow. Dey ain't no fun in bein' as populous as what I is, Brer Fox. Ef you wanter go, des git ahead er de houn's and go lickety-split down de big road." Brer Fox roll his little eyes and lick his chops where he dribble at de mouth, and put out to de barbecue. And he ain't mo' dan made his disappearance, for here comes Brer Wolf. And when he got de news, off he put. And he ain't mo'n got out of sight, for here comes ol' Brer B'ar. And when he hear talk er de bacon meat and de big pan er gravy, he sot up on his behind legs and snorted. Den off he put, and he ain't got out of hearin' 'fo' Brer Coon come rackin' up, and when he got the news, he put out. So dar dey was, and what you gwine do about it? It seems like dey all got in front er de dogs got behind 'em, and Brer Rabbit sot by de creek side laughin' and hittin' at de snake doctors. And dem po' creeturs had to go clean past de barbecue, if dey was any barbecue, which I don't skacely 'spect there was. Dat what made me say what I does. When you get a invite to de barbecue, you better find out when and whar it's at, and who's runnin' it. End of chapter 1. Chapter 2 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. Br'er Rabbit's Frolic. The little boy, when he next saw Uncle Remus after hearing how the animals went to the barbecue, wanted to know what happened to them. He was anxious to learn if any of them were hurt by the dogs that had been chasing Brother Rabbit. The old darky closed his eyes and chuckled. "You sure is asking something now, honey." Under his hat, if he had any, Br'er Rabbit had a mighty quick thinking apparatus, and most'n generally all de time de pranks he played on de other creeturs pestered 'em both ways a comin' and a gwine. De dogs done mighty well, long as dey's had dealin' wid de little fry like Brer Fox and Brer Coon and Brer Wolf, but when dey run agin ol' Brer B'ar, dey sho struck a snag. De most vigorous was de identical one dat got the wust hurted. He got too close to Brer B'ar, and when he look at hisse'f in runnin' water, he took notice that he was split wide open from flank to dewlap. Atter de ruckus was over, de creeturs hobbled off home de best dey could and laid roun' in sun and shade fer ter let de cuts and gashes git good and well. When dey got so dey could sagactuate and pay der party calls, dey 'greed fer ter ensemble somewheres and hit on some plan fer ter outdo Brer Rabbit. Well, dey had der ensembly, and dey jarred and jarred, des like yo' pa do when he ain't feelin' right well. But by dey 'greed upon a plan dat looked like it might ought work. Dey 'greed fer ter make out dat dey gwine ter have a dance. Dey know dat ol' Br'er Rabbit wuz allers keen fer dat, and dey say dey'll give 'im an invite, and when he got dar, dey'll ax him fer ter play de fiddle, and ef he 'fuse, dey'll close in on 'im and make way wid 'im. So fur, so good. But all de time dey wuz jowerin' and confabbin', ol' Brer Rabbit wuz settin' in a shady place in de grass, a hearin' every word dey say. When de time come, he crope out, he did, and run roun', and de fust news dey knowed, here he comes down de big road, bookity bookity, same ez a hoss dat's broke thoo de pasture fence. He says he, "Why, hello, frien's, and howdy too, 'kase I ain't seed you all since de last time. Where de name of goodness is you been dese odd come shorts? And how did you fare at the barbecue? If my two eyeballs ain't gone and got crooked, dar's ol' Brer B'ar, him of de short tail and sharp tush, de ve'y one I'm a huntin' fer. And dar's Brer Coon. I sho is in big luck. Dar's gwine ter be a big frolic at Miss Meadows, and her and de gals want Brer B'ar fer ter show 'em de rosin y'all shuffle, and dey put Brer Coon down fer de jig dey calls Rack Back Davy. I'm ter play de fiddle, sump'n I ain't done sence my oldest gal had de mumps and de measles, befo' de same day and hour. Well, dis mornin' I tuck down de fiddle from where she wuz a hangin', and drawed de bow backards and fur'ards a time or two, and den I shot my eyes and hit some of de old time chunes, and when I come to myself, dar wuz my whole blessed family skippin' and sashaying roun' de room, spite of de fact dat breakfast wuz to be cooked. Wid dat, Brer Rabbit bowed, he did, and went back down de road like de dogs wuz atter him. But what happened then? The little boy asked. "Nothin' 'tall," replied Uncle Remus, taking up the chuckle where he had left off. "De creeturs ain't had no dance, and when dey went ter Miss Meadows, she put her head out de winder and say if dey don't go off from dar she'll have de law on 'em." End of chapter 2. Chapter 3 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. Brother Bear's Big House. "Of all the creeturs," said Uncle Remus, in response to a questioning look on the part of the little boy, "Old Brer B'ar had the biggest and the warmest house. I dunno why nor wherefore, but I'm a tellin' you de plain fact, des as dey done tole unto me. If I kin help it, I never will be deceivin' you nor lead you into no bad habits. Yo' pappy trotted wid me a mighty long time, and if you'll ask him, he'll tell you dat de one thing I never did do was to deceive him whiles he had his eyes open, not if I knows myself. Well, old Brer B'ar had de big house I'm a tellin' you about. If he ever is brag on it, it ain't never come down to me, yet dat is what he had, a big house, and plenty of room for him and his family, and he ain't had no more than he need, 'cause all of his family was fat and had what folks call heft, the natural plumpness. He had a son named Simon, and a gal named Sue, not countin' his old 'oman, and they all lived with one an'er day after day, and night after night. And when one of 'em went abroad, they'd be expected home about meal time, if not before, and they sagaciated right along from day to day, washin' de face and hands in de same wash pan in de back porch, and wipin' on de same towel, same as all happy families allers does. Well, time went on and fotched de changes that might be 'spected, and one day there come a mighty knockin' on Brer B'ar's door. Brer B'ar, he holler out, he did, "Who dat come a knockin' dis time of de year? For de corn's done planted and de cotton crops pitched." De one at de door make a big noise and rattle de hinges. Brer B'ar holler out, he did, "Don't tar down my house. Who is you anyhow, and what you want?" And de answer come, "I'm one, and darfin' not two. If you're more den one, who is you, and what you doin' in dar?" Brer B'ar, he says he, "I'm all de one and mighty nigh two, but I thank you fer to tell me yo' full fambly name." Den de answer come, "I'm de knocker and de mover befo', and if I can't climb over, I'll climb under if you do but give me de word. Some calls me Brer Polecat, and some a big word that it ain't wuff while to remember. But I wanter move in. It's mighty cold out here, and all I meets tells me it's mighty warm in dar whar you is." Den old Brer B'ar say, sezee, "It's warm 'nuff fer dem what stays in here, but not nigh so warm fer dem on de outside. What does you reely want?" Brer Polecat spawn, he said, "I wants a heap of things that I don't get. I'm a mighty good housekeeper, but I takes notice that there's mighty few folks that wants me to keep house fer 'em." Brer B'ar say, sezee, "I ain't got no room fer no housekeeper. We ain't skacely got room fer to go to bed. If you can keep my house on de outside, you're mighty welcome." Brer Polecat say, "You may think you ain't got no room, but I bet you got as much room as anybody what I know. If you let me in dar one time, I bound you I'll make all de room I want." Uncle Remus paused to see what effect this statement would have on the little boy. He closed his eyes as though he were tired, but when he opened them again he saw the faint shadow of a smile on the child's face. "'Tain't gwine to hurt you fer to laugh a little bit, honey. Brer Polecat come in Brer B'ar's house, and he had such bad breath that they all had to get out, and he stayed and stayed twel time stopped runnin' agin him." End of chapter 3. Chapter 4 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. Br'er Rabbit treats the Creeturs to a race. One sultry summer day, while the little boy was playing not far from Uncle Remus's cabin, a heavy black cloud made its appearance in the west and quickly obscured the sky. It sent a brisk gale before it, as if to clear the path of leaves and dust. Presently there was a blinding flash of lightning, a snap and a crash, and with that the child took to his heels and ran to Uncle Remus, who was standing in his door. "Dar now!" he exclaimed, before the echoes of the thunder had rolled away. "Dat dust and wind and rain puts me in mind of de time when old Br'er Rabbit got up a big race fer to pleasure de yuther creeturs. It was de most funniest race you ever heard tell on. Br'er Rabbit went way off in de woods twel he come to de Rainmaker's house. He knocked and went in, and he asked the Rainmaker if he can fix it up so they can have a race 'tween Brer Dust and Cousin Rain, fer to see which can run de fastest. The Rainmaker growled and jowered, but by he 'gree, and he say that if 'twas anybody but Brer Rabbit, he wouldn't give it but one thunk. Well, dey fixed de day, dey did, and den Brer Rabbit put out to whar de creeturs was stayin' and told 'em de news. Dey dunner know how Brer Rabbit know, but dey all wanter see de race. Now him and de Rainmaker had fixed it up so that de race would be right down de middle of de big road, and when de day come, dar's whar he made de creeturs stand. Brer B'ar at de bend in de road, Brer Wolf a little furder off, and Brer Fox at a p'int where de crossroads was. Brer Coon and Brer Possum and de others he scattered about up and down de road. To dem what has to wait, it seems like de sun stops and all de clocks wid him. Brer B'ar done come growlin', Brer Wolf some howlin', and Brer Possum some laughin', but atter while cloud comes up from summers. 'Twasn't such a big cloud, but Br'er Rabbit knowed dat Cousin Rain was in dar 'long wid Uncle Win'. De cloud crope up, it did, twel it got right over de big road, and den it kinder dropped down a little closer to de ground. It looked like it kinder stopped like a buggy fer Cousin Rain to get out, so dar'd be a far start. Well, he got out, 'kase de creeturs kin see him, and den Uncle Win, he got out. And den, gentlemens, de race begun fer to commence. Uncle Win hept up befo'. He had his bellows wid him, and he blowed it. Brer Dust got up from whar he was layin' at, and come down de road a whirlin'. He stricken old Brer B'ar first, den Brer Wolf, and den Brer Fox, and atter dat all de yuther creeturs, and it come mighty nigh smifflicatin' 'em. Not never in all yo' born days is you ever heard such coughin' and sneezin', such snortin' and wheezin'. And they all looked like they was painted red. Brer B'ar sneezed so hard dat he hatter lay down in de road, and Brer Dust come mighty nigh buryin' him. And 'twaz de same wid de yuther creeturs. Dey got de years, de noses, and de eyeses full. And den Cousin Rain come along a pursuin' Brother Dust, and he come mighty nigh drownin' 'em. He left 'em kivered wid mud, and dey was wuss off dan befo'. It was de longest 'fo' dey kin git de mud out de eyes and de ears, and when dey get so dey kin see a leetle bit, dey tuck notice dat Br'er Rabbit, 'stidder bein' full of mud, was ez dry ez a chip, if not drier. It made 'em so mad dat dey all put out atter him and tried de level best fer to ketch, but if der was anything in de roun' world dat Br'er Rabbit's got, it's supple foots, and 'twa'n't no time, for de yuther creeturs can't see har nor hide of 'em. All de same, Br'er Rabbit ain't bargain fer to have two races in de same day. "But Uncle Remus," said the little boy, "which beat, Brother Dust or Cousin Rain?" The old man stirred uneasily in his chair and rubbed his chin with his hand. "Dey tells me," he responded cautiously, "dat when Cousin Rain can't see nothin' er Brother Dust, he thunked him beat. But he holler out, 'Brother Dust, whereabouts is you?' And Brother Dust, he holler back, 'Yo' hatter scoosin' me, I fell down in de mud and can't run no mo'.'" End of chapter 4. Chapter 5 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Br'er Rabbit's Flying Trip. Dar once was a time when most er de creeturs got mighty tired of Brer Rabbit's capers, And dey 'semble dey did, grass and meat eaters, browsers and grazers, and likewise de bone scrapers, fer ter see what dey kin do. Brer B'ar wuz dar wid his big fur suit on, and ol' Brer Wolf fetched his big howl along, and when eve'ything wuz ready, wid a long loud hoot on, here come ol' Simon Swamp Owl along, a tooting of his too-whoot. Dar wuz ol' Brer Fox, suh, wid his black socks, suh, and a heap er creeturs dat I don't hatter mention, some bow-legged and some knock-kneed in de hocks, suh, and dey all agreed fer ter hol' a convention fer ter stop Br'er Rabbit's pranks. Brer Fox, he 'low he'll gi' a pot er gold, suh, ter de man what kin toll Brer Rabbit off, suh. Brer Buzzard say, "I'm a gittin' ol', suh, but I'll try my han'," and den he cough, suh, and de rest un um bowed der thanks. Now ol' Brer B'ar wuz a settin' on de chair, suh, so he stand up and move a motion. He up and 'low, "Le's erse'ves right here, suh, fer ter thank Brer Buzzard whiles we're in de notion, and not put it off till some other day." And den dey had it up and down, suh, 'sputin' 'bout what dey oughter do. Some wanter give 'im a flower crown, suh, if he rid Brer Rabbit up dar in de blue, and drap 'im when he got half-way. Dey sont a runner atter ol' Br'er Rabbit, ter ax him ter call an' ter 'ten' de convention, but ol' friend Wobble Nose had a queer habit er knowin' a thing befo' it wuz mention, an' he come 'fo' he got de word. He wiggle his nose an' wunk his eye. "Here sho is de man I wants ter see, suh. Brer Buzzard, I'm tryin' ter learn how ter fly." An' co'se Brer Buzzard gi' his agree, suh, an' all un um say he's a 'commodatin' bird. An' den Brer Buzzard half spread his wings, suh. He try ter look young, but he wuz ol', suh. He try ter strut an' walk wid a swing, suh. He wuz dreamin' 'bout dat pot er gold, suh, an' what he wuz gwine fer ter buy. Brer Buzzard ain't skacely got thoo wid his pride, suh, 'fo' Brer Rabbit lit right 'tween his floppers, wid, "Now hump yo'se'f an' gimme a ride, suh. Ef you don't, I'll hit you some whoppers when I git you up dar in de sky." Well, de creeturs grinned when Brer Rabbit riz, suh, an' made a big fuss accordin' ter der nature. Ez fer ol' Brer Rabbit, de pleasure wuz all his, suh. De ridin' wuz easy ez eatin' tater when it's biled an' made inter pie. 'Kaze under bofe wings he had a paw, suh, an' when Brer Buzzard try fer ter drap 'im, he'd scratch an' tickle 'im wid his claw, suh, an' when Brer Buzzard try fer ter flap 'im, he'd scratch an' wink his eye. An' wid his claws he tuck an' steered 'im from post ter pillar in de deep blue, suh. He'd holler an' laugh, all de creeturs heerd 'im. You know how you'd feel if it had been you, suh, a waitin' fer summun ter fall. When ol' Brer Rabbit got tired er ridin', he steered Brer Buzzard right straight ter de groun', suh, an' den an' dar went right inter hidin'. When de creeturs come up, he couldn't be foun', suh, an' I 'speck an' I reckon dat's all. End of chapter 5. Chapter 6 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Br'er Rabbit and the Gold Mine. There had been a silence in the cabin for a long 10 minutes, and Uncle Remus, looking up, saw a threat of sleep in the little boy's eyes. Whereupon he plunged headlong into a story without a word of explanation. "Well, suh, one year it fell out dat de craps wuz burned. A dry drought had done de work, an' ef you'd 'a' struck a match anywhere in dat settlement, de whole county would 'a' blazed up. Ol' man Hungriness natchally tuck up his clothes an' went paradin' 'roun' everywhere, an' de creeturs got bony an' skinny. Ol' Brer B'ar done better dan any un um, 'kase all he hatter do wuz go ter sleep an' live off his own fat. An' Brer Rabbit an' his ol' 'oman had put some calamus root by, an' saved up some sugar cane dat dey find lyin' 'roun' loose, an' dey got 'long purty well. But de balance er de creeturs was dat gaunt dat dey ain't got over it down to dis day. The Creeturs had the meetin' place where dey could all set round an' talk the kind of politics dey had, des like folks does at the crossroad grocery. One day, while dey was all settin' an' squattin' round jowerin' an' confabbin', Br'er Rabbit he up an' say, sezee, dat ol' Mammy Big Money tol' his great gran'daddy dat there was a mighty big an' fat gold mine in dese parts, an' he say dat he wouldn't be 'tall 'stonished 'twa'n't somewhere close to Brer B'ar's house. Brer B'ar he growled, he did, an' he say dat gold mine better not let him find it, 'kase atter he got done wid it, dey wouldn't be no gold mine dar. Some laughed, some grinned, an' some gapped, an' atter jowerin' some mo', dey all put out to where dey famblies was livin' at. But I boun' you dey ain't fergit 'bout dat gold mine, 'kase fum dat time on, go where you mought, you'd ketch some er de creeturs diggin' an' gravelin' in de groun', some in de fields, some in de woods, an' some in de big road, an' dey was so weak an' hongry dat dey kin skacely gabble fer fallin' down. Well, dis went on fer de longest, but bimeby one day dey all 'gree dat sump'n bleeze ter be done, an' dey say dey'll all take one big hunt fer de gold mine an' den quit. Dey hunted in gangs, wid de gangs not fur from one anudder, an' it so happen dat Br'er Rabbit was in de gang wid Brer Wolf, an' he knowed dat he hatter keep his eyes wide open. All de creeturs hatter dig in different places, an' whiles Brer Rabbit wa'n't much of a grabber, he had a way of makin' de others b'lieve dat he was de best er de lot. So he made a heap of motion like he was t'arin' up de earth. Dey ain't been goin' on dis long before Brer Wolf holler out, "Run here, Brer Rabbit, I done foun' it!" Brer B'ar an' Brer Fox was both diggin' close by, an' Brer Rabbit kinder wunk one eye at de elements, an' he says, sezee, "Glad I fer yo' sake, Brer Wolf, git yo' gold an' joy fer yo'se'f." Brer Wolf say, "Come git some, Brer Rabbit, come git some." Ol' Brer Rabbit 'spon', "I'll take de leavin's, Brer Wolf. You take what you want, an' den when you got enough, I'll git de little bit I want." Brer Wolf say, "I wanter show you sump'n." Brer Rabbit 'low, "My eyes ain't big fer nothin'." Brer Wolf say, "I got a secret I wanter tell you." Brer Rabbit 'low, "My years ain't long fer nothin'. Des stan' dar an' do yo' whisperin', Brer Wolf, an' I'll hear ev'y word you say." Brer Wolf ain't say nothin' but make out he's grabbin', an' den all of a sudden he make a dash at Brer Rabbit, but when he git where Brer Rabbit was at, Brer Rabbit ain't dar no mo'. He done gone. Weak an' hongry ez he is, Brer Wolf know dat he can't ketch Brer Rabbit, an' so he holler out, "What's yo' hurry, Brer Rabbit? Where you gwine?" Brer Rabbit holler back, "I'm gwine home atter a bag fer ter tote de gold you gwine leave me. So long, Brer Wolf, I wish you mighty well." And with dat, he put out for home. End of chapter 6. Chapter 7 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Br'er Rabbit gets Brer Fox a hoss. Not many of de creeturs was fond of water, unless it mought 'a' been Brer Coon's daughter. Brer B'ar, Brer Fox, an' ol' Brer Rabbit, dey vowed dat dey can't never git in de habit er wadin' de creek er swimmin' de river. When it comes ter dat, dey'd run ter kiver. When folks come 'long fer ter git across, de creeturs tuck notice dat dey rid a hoss. Brer Fox, he say he wish he had one, an' 'mongst all de others he'd be de glad one. He git a bridle an' a bran new saddle, an' git on de hoss an' ride 'im straddle. He says he'd do some trottin', 'kase when I git started I'm a mighty hot un. Brer Rabbit, he smole a great big smile, wid, "I can't ride myse'f, 'kase I got a bile." but it seems like to me dat I knows whar a hoss is. He's away back yon where two roads crosses, an' I'll meet you dar tomorrow mornin', des about de time when day's a dawnin'. Brer Fox, he say, I hear yo' sesso, an' ef I ain't sick, I'll be dar deso. Brer Rabbit tip his hat wid, "So long, friend, we'll get de hoss, you may depend." Long 'fo' de time, Brer Rabbit was a stirrin', an' he chuckle to hisse'f like a cat a purrin'. De hoss was stretched out asleep in de pasture. Brer Rabbit went up as close as he daster, fer ter see ef he 'live. Hoss twitch his tail, suh. "Dis time we'll get you widout fail, suh." So Brer Rabbit say, den he seed Brer Fox, an' a nur fine gent fer ter git in a box. Den he say out loud, "Good luck done sawin' 'im, an' laid 'im down right whar you want 'im. Ef you're tied ter his tail, you kin sholy hol' 'im, an' mo' dan dat, you kin trip 'im an' roll 'im." So said, so done, an' dar Brer Fox wuz, right close to de place whar a heap er hawks wuz. Brer Rabbit, he holler, "Hol' 'im down, hol' 'im down!" Dis make 'im stay right sprang on de groun'. De hoss, he riz wid a snort an' a whicker, an' showed dat he wuz sump'n uv a kicker. An' den an' dar, Brer Rabbit 'gun ter snicker, wid, "Hol' 'im, Brer Fox, 'twon't do ter flicker. Ef you make 'im stan' still, you kin ride 'im de quicker." De hoss, he r'arin' an' raise a mighty dust up, an' fust thing you know, Brer Rabbit hear a bust up. I hope, Brer Fox, dat you ain't much hurt, but yo' wife will be mad, 'kase you done tored yo' shirt. End of chapter 7. Chapter 8 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Br'er Rabbit finds the moon in the mill pond. Oh, one bright day in de middle er May, Br'er Rabbit was feelin' fine. He tuck to de road an' never knowed de place whar he wuz gwine. "Oh, fur an' free," sezee, siree, "no gal kin change my min'." Brer Tarrypin sly, he wunk one eye un'neat his green gourd vine. He holler an' say, "Whar you gwine dis day, wid yo' pipe an' walkin' cane?" Brer Rabbit wave his hand like a gal do her fan. "My heart's 'bout to bust wid pain. I'm a heap too nice, I ain't laughed but twice sence de big Janawary rain. My day'll be done ef I don't have some fun. Dey'll call me Sunday Jane. I'll get solemn colic ef I don't have a frolic. My head'll get flabby an' swink. I'll chaw de pine bud 'kase I'm 'bout to lose my cud, an' some nights I don't sleep a wink. Ef I has ter sit still, oh, I'll wear de green willow an' go in mournin' wid de mink. But I bet you a hat dat 'fo' I does dat, I'll show 'em all a new kink." So off he put on his nimbles foot, wid a grin, a laugh, an' a cough. To Miss Mott's an' Miss Meadows an' all de udders he tell what is gwine ter come off. 'Twuz a mill pond fishin', an' he left 'em a wishin' dat de wind don't blow fum de norf. An' de creeturs all befo' long an' tall, an' dem no bigger dan a dwarf. Brer Wolf an' Brer B'ar all say dey'd be dar, an' dey promise fer ter fetch a seine. Dey 'gree ter de day, an' Brer Rabbit say dat day don't hatter come ef it rain. So said, so done, an' when de time come, de big road ez well ez de lane wuz fill wid a crowd, all talkin' out loud, an' a prankin' wid might an' main. Br'er Rabbit wuz dar, wid Miss Holly Hare, a waitin' fer de fun ter begin. He shuck his shank an' went ter de bank, an' made like he gwine ter jump in. But de sight he saw made him drap his jaw, an' break up a great big grin. He says ter Brer Coon, "Run here an' see de moon, a floatin' widout a fin." He look again, she sho fell in, and we got to git her out. If she stays in de pond, it's goodbye John, and of dat dey ain't no doubt. We got to have light when we play at night, fer to see how to git about. We'll drag wid de scene, if we don't drag in vain, we'll have good reason to shout. But when it comes to singin', there was some complainin' 'bout who was to do it all. They all make out that they want to wade out, but it fell on dem that was tall. Brer B'ar he laugh ez he tuck a staff. Brer Wolf say he fear he'd fall, but he tuck his place wid a mighty wry face. And when they 'gun to haul, "Oh, you better bet dis water's wet! I feel des like a sponge!" And den they all, wid a kick and a squall, wid a squeal and den a lunge, grabbed at de water, which they hadn't oughter, went over their heads wid a splunge. Br'er Rabbit bent double. "Oh, all of yo' trouble fills me full of fun, yun, yun, yun." End of chapter 8. Chapter 9 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. How Mr. Lion Lost His Wool. 'Twas just such a day as dis dat Mr. Lion lost his wool, remarked Uncle Remus to the little boy. Mr. Man tuck a notion dat de time done come fer him fer ter have a hog killin', and he got 'im a big barrel and fill it half full of water from de big springs. Den he piled up 'bout a cord of wood, and as he piled he put rocks twixt de logs, and den he sot de wood after and befoeids and in de middle. 'Twasn't long 'fo' they had de hogs kilt and everything ready fer ter scrape de har off. Den he tuck de red hot rocks what he put in de fire and flung 'em in de barrel where de water was, and 'twa'n't long, 'fo' dat water was ready fer ter bile. Den dey tuck de hogs, one at a time, and soused 'em in de water, and time dey tuck 'em out, his hair was ready fer ter drap out by de roots. Den dey'd scrape 'em wid sticks and chips, and dey ain't leave a har on 'em. Well, bimeby dey had all de hogs kilt and cleaned and hauled off, and when everything was still ez a settin' hen, ol' Br'er Rabbit stuck his head out from behind a bush where he been settin' at. He stuck his head out, he did, and look all 'roun', and den he went where de fire was, and try fer ter warm hisse'f. He ain't been dar long, for here comes Brer Wolf and Brer Fox, and den he got busy. He say, "Hello, frien's, howdy and welcome. I'm des fixin' fer ter take a warm bath like Mr. Man gi' his hogs. Won't you jine me?" Dey say dey ain't in no hurry, but dey help Brer Rabbit put de hot rocks in de barrel, and dey watch de water bubble, and bimeby, when everything was ready, who should walk up but ol' Mr. Lion. He had a mane from his head plumb to de een' er his tail, and in some places it wuz so long it drug on de groun'. Dat would make all de creeturs fear'd of 'im. He growled and ax um what dey doin', and when Brer Rabbit tell 'im, he say dat's what he long been needin'. "How does you git in?" "Des back right in," says ol' Brer Rabbit, sezee, and wid dat, Mr. Lion backed in. And de water was so hot, he try fer ter git out, and he slipped in plumb to his shoulder blades. You kin believe me er not, but dat creetur was scalded so dat he hollered and skeered everybody fer miles aroun'. And when he come out, all de wool dropped out, 'cep' de bunch you see on his neck, and de little bit you find on de een' of his tail, and dat'd come off if de tail hadn't a slipped thoo de bung hole er de barrel. With that, Uncle Remus closed his eyes, but not so tightly that he couldn't watch the little boy. For a moment the child said nothing, and then, "I must tell that tale to mother before I forget it." So saying, he ran out of the cabin as fast as his feet could carry him, leaving Uncle Remus shaking with laughter. End of chapter 9. Chapter 10 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain, recorded by Phil Chenevert. How Br'er Rabbit Got a House. Oh, once 'pon a time, all the Creeturs took a notion that they'd build a house, and fix it so as to keep out the skeeters, and fix it up next cummy rouse. Dey all was dar, from de b'ar to de possum, Brer Wolf, Brer Fox, Brer Coon, wid ol' Brer Rabbit fer ter standin' roun' an' boss 'em, 'kase dey hatter have de house right soon. Brer Rabbit, he was busy, oh yes, mighty busy, not doin' of a blessed thing. If he climb de scaffold, he say he'll git dizzy, so he measure an' mark an' sing. Dey build de house, an' it sho was a fine un, made of poplar an' oak an' pine. De littlest room was a 7x9 un, where de sick could go an' whine. Brer Rabbit, he wait, an' when de time come, he chosen a upsta'r room, an' dar he sot, if I kin make de rhyme come, a singin' hark from de tomb. An' den he got what he ain't had oughter, as all de creeturs said, a gun, a cannon, an' a tub of water, an' hid 'em under his bed. When de creeturs come home, Brer Rabbit was ready, an' he tell 'em he gwineter set down. "Well, set," says dey, "an' we'll try ter be steady." An' wid dat, Brer Rabbit kinder frown. Bang, bang went de gun, de barrels was double, an' de creeturs was still as mice. Brer B'ar, he say, "Dere mus' be some trouble, but I hope he don't loosen de j'ist." Brer Rabbit, he say, "Whereabouts mus' I spit at?" An' Brer Wolf answer wid a grin, "Des wharsomever you kin make it hit at." Brer Fox, he rub his chin. Brer Rabbit, he tuck de tub of water an' empty it all on de stars, an' it come nigh drownin' Brer Coon's daughter, an' likewise one of Brer B'ar's. Brer Rabbit say, "When I sneeze, I'll skeer you, an' I hate fer ter have it to do." Brer Fox say, "We'll listen an' hear you. Des go right ahead wid yo' sneeze-a-ma-doo." Boom-a-lime went de cannon, an' de creeturs dey lit out, thoo window sash an' do', any way dat dey kin git out, an' dey ain't come dar no mo'. End of chapter 10. Chapter 11 of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Phil Chenevert. Br'er Rabbit and the Partridge Nest. Oh, what's de matter wid de whippoorwill, dat she sets an' cries on de fudder hill? An' what's de matter wid Miss Bob White, dat she choke herself wid sayin' good night? You know mighty well dat sump'n is wrong when dey sets an' sings dat kinder song. Twix a call an' a cry, twix a weep an' a wail, dey must be tellin' a mighty sad tale. Miss Whippoorwill's troubles an' what she say will do fer ter tell some yuther day. But Miss Bob White, my, ain't she a sight? I'll hatter tell you why she hollers good night. There once was a time, needer more nor less, when she ain't try ter hide ner kiver her nest. She built it in the open, where all kin see, an' was des as polite as she kin be. She'd make her house facin' east an' west, an' den wid eggs she'd fill her nes'. Fer ter keep 'em warm, she'd brood an' set, an' keep her house from gittin' wet. Whiles dis gwine on, Brer Rabbit come by, a wigglin' his mouf an' a blinkin' his eye. "De top er de mornin', Miss Bob," sezee. "De same ter you, Brer Rabbit," sez she. Sez ol' Brer Rabbit, "I been missin' you long. I was mighty feared dat sump'n wuz wrong. But here you set ez still ez a mouse, not doin' nothin' but keepin' house." "Oh, well," sez she, "I'm too ole ter gad. I used ter do it, but I wish I never had. De on'y thing I want is ter wash my dress, but I can't do dat whiles I'm on my nes'." Brer Rabbit, he say, "Can't I help you out? I ain't doin' nothin' but walkin' about, an' my ol' 'oman is willin' fer ter bet dat if settin's de thing, I'm ol' man set." "I know mighty well," says Miss Bob White, "if you set a tall, it'll be done right." "Thank you do, Miss Bob. Go wash yo' dress.
and I'll do what I can fer ter cover your nest." So off she put, wid a flutter and a flirt, and washed her dress in a pile of clean dirt. Brer Rabbit seized the eggs and shook his head. His mouth 'gun ter dribble and his eye turn red. Sezee, "It'd sho'ly be hard fer ter match 'em, so I'll take 'em home and try fer ter hatch 'em." So said, so done, and den when he come back, he come in a gate 'twixt a lope and a rack. And Miss Bob White, atter washin' her dress, went a runnin' back ter house and nes'. "Much erbleege, Brer Rabbit," and den she bowed. "Say nothin', ma'am, fer ter make me proud, 'kase I been a waitin' here frettin' and sweatin', for fear I ain't sech a good hand at settin'. My ol' 'oman say I got a slow fever, an' I 'clar' ter goodness I'm ready ter b'lieve her. I felt sump'n move, I heard sump'n run, an' de eggs done gone, dey ain't na'er a one. I sho is seed sights, I done hear folks talk, but never before I seed eggs walk." "My goodness me!" says Miss Bob White, a peepin' in de nes', "you sho is right." An' yever sence den, when darkness falls, she gives de lost chillun her good night calls. An' yever sence den, when darkness falls, she gives de lost chillun her good night calls.
End of chapter 11. End of Uncle Remus and Br'er Rabbit by Joel Chandler Harris.